So, hi everyone, if you're listening in on Wave.video group or on LinkedIn Live or wherever you may be, welcome. Please introduce yourself. Feel free to join in the comments. We'll be able to see them. We are using StreamYard, so if you are commenting, please do let StreamYard access your profile so we can see your name. Otherwise, we will still quote you and show your comment, but we won't know who you are. So today we are talking about what you need to know about Instagram TV in somebody in the background. Instagram TV 2020 with Dan Knowlton, who owns a very successful agency out of the UK. And Dan, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi there. My name's Dan. I run Knowlton, which is a digital and social media marketing agency, and we help brands to generate creative social media campaigns that drive tangible return on investment.
Short and simple.
There you go.
Dan is also a speaker. He'll be speaking at Social Media Marketing World coming up very soon, and pretty much anywhere you can imagine. I think I've seen you all over the place.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Instagram TV, and then for those, let's start out just with the basics. For those who are not really familiar with how to use Instagram TV for your business, how does one get on it?
So it's actually got its own standalone app. So you can download it from the App Store or Google Play Store. Interestingly, it did have kind of an icon within the Instagram platform, the top right, where you could click it and go onto it. But in the last few days, they've taken that down. So you can't access it via the button anymore. So you need to download the standalone app.
Why did they make that change?
I'm not too sure. I don't, at the moment, I don't think that's a very good move from them, to be honest. I think, despite IGTV being very innovative in the approach they've taken to really focus on long form vertical video, they're still struggling to an extent to get people to use it as much as they wanted. So I don't see why taking, Instagram's already got a huge user base, and actually making it more difficult for users to use the platform isn't a good move, I don't think. So we'll see how it plays out. Maybe they're trying to kind of separate the two more, but we'll see.
Got it. So as a business, what should I think about, or what are the benefits that Instagram TV might bring for a business if it's yet another channel to be concerned about?
Yeah, I think the first kind of key conversation we need to have is IGTV isn't the answer to all of your problems. You don't want to put all of your eggs in the IGTV egg basket. However, IGTV is a great platform. It's really focused on long form vertical video, which is kind of a new approach. They're also really kind of focused on the way that consumers are actually consuming content now on kind of a vertical device. We all constantly consume content via our mobile, so they're really moving that way. I still don't think they've executed hugely well. However, what IGTV is great for is driving awareness and eyeballs and traffic to your Instagram content. If you've currently got a following on Instagram and you want to build awareness, reach new people, IGTV is a relatively new feature on the platform. We know that whenever any social platform brings out a new feature, they over-index it in the platform, so you can get better results, better organic reach and engagement than other features. We saw this when Instagram Live came out. We saw this when Stories came out. So the main reason I'd be thinking of using IGTV is it's a great way to drive more traffic to your current kind of Instagram audience.
So with that in mind, what kind of content works best on Instagram TV?
It hasn't been around a huge amount of time. I think it was June last year that they launched the app. So compared to other platforms like YouTube, we're still in the testing phase. We're still, even as a consumer and a creator, still testing to see what types of content works. But I really see currently 3 brackets of content that are working. The first is kind of low produced selfie style, longer form video content where you're speaking to camera. You know, as Instagram users, we are used to that whole sort of style with Insta stories. So it kind of fits in well with that. The other kind of bracket at the other end of the scale is highly produced content tailor-made for IGTV. So there's brands like Lad Bible, which is an online publication in the UK, that are really nailing IGTV focused content, where they're investing a huge amount of resource in making it perfectly fit vertical format. But again, that takes lots of resources, lots of time, lots of energy to do that. And I guess the middle bracket of content is repurposed content that you've produced in other platforms that's then edited to fit IGTV. And I know a lot of kind of creators and social media marketers say you shouldn't just take your other content and place it straight on IGTV. It needs to be tailored for IGTV. But my argument is also in terms of the return you're getting for the time you invest. It takes a huge amount of time to produce, shoot, and edit content that's tailor-made for the platform. So those are the real three kind of brackets that I see working on IGTV at the moment.
Got it. Can you make sort of teaser videos on IGTV that lead to like the full video, or do some kind of clickbait trick here?
Yeah, I'd say there's a number of ways you can do that. First of all, thinking about wherever you currently have attention, trying to utilize that attention to drive traffic to IGTV. So there's a number of built-in features for this. For example, when you upload an IGTV video, you can choose to share that in your Insta grid. So that's one way that you can do that. Another way is, you can easily, clicking the kind of plane icon, share your IGTV video to your stories, which again is, in the whole kind of spectrum of Instagram, a relatively new-ish feature. It seems old now, but you can still gain more organic reach and engagement compared to sort of your feed. So doing that, and really just to kind of think like a journalist with your copy. So like a journalist has a hook. They hook people in with kind of something that kind of whets your appetite to think about what's going to be in the main video. Copy is something that I don't think enough people put enough thought into, and there's a huge opportunity to really get creative with your copy to sort of hook those people in.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's really good advice there. And in a way, it kind of reminds me, when you're describing the strategy of getting people from Instagram TV to Instagram mostly, it a bit reminds me of YouTube. Many times we want the thumbnails to bring to, and the suggested videos to bring to the full video. And so that quick animation or that quick intro, it's all about the copy. And you're saying kind of apply the same attitude to Instagram TV, right?
Yeah, and also another important thing to take into account is how you format your videos. So for example, this is something we learned recently when we tried different styles of videos. So obviously an IGTV video, when you're in the app, when you're watching the video, it shows up as a full sort of mobile phone screen size, right? Vertical. Mm-hmm. However, when you share that to your feed, your main Instagram grid, and it pops up there, it's a different size. In the preview is kind of a 2/3 size of that big phone screen, unless you click into it. So what you need to be careful of is editing a video that where things are chopped off. You want to be having subtitles burnt into that video, but if the subtitles are too far down, then when it's previewing in that Insta feed, when it's coming up in people's feed on Instagram, it's going to be chopped off, and anything that doesn't look formatted right is an instant turn off for people on Instagram to watch that content. Yeah,
Instagram is all about the aesthetics, right? It needs to be pretty no matter what. Right? Is that still a good rule?
Yeah. Well, I think there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance. Instagram's hopefully moving towards, I know they're testing it, rolling out hiding likes and things. And I'm hoping that that's going to, get people to start to care less about how, perfect a piece of content needs to be. Some of the best content I've seen, like, for example, there's a guy called James Smith, who's like a personal trainer, some dude I follow in the UK. And some of the best content that I literally his IGTV videos, I sit and watch for ages are him speaking to camera. He's literally set his phone up. I think he does have a light behind him, which, you know, isn't high production value, but it still looks good. And he just talks to camera and shares really interesting, insightful stories, educational information, you know, thoughts on the personal training industry. So yeah, I really hope we move away from this. And also, one more thing, Daniel, when people see highly produced content in, like, you know, Insta stories, for example, they instantly think advertising. Someone's trying to sell me something that's highly produced, and you kind of think, we're in that kind of swipe mentality, especially with IGTV as well. Swipe, swipe, swipe. So we really need to be thinking about not waffling, not, you know, getting to the point and keeping it interesting to not just captivate someone's attention, but hold their attention, because we're so into that swipe mentality. It's just, you know, we love it.
We love it. The irony. It's interesting. You mentioned that you know, not creating highly
Produced.
What was the word? Produced content, and because it's associated with ads. And what's interesting is that ads in Instagram TV still are, it's our still go-to make highly produced ads. That's just our instinct. But when you look at the kind of ads that are showing up in TikTok, they're really, really catered for that platform, and they really kind of get it. They're sort of, you know, strange. They're a little cringy. They're very millennial-ish kind of, and it looks like somebody made them, you know, in their backyard sometimes. And then you see it's like, oh yeah, it's an ad. It caught you by surprise. But, and it's interesting that we don't apply that to Instagram.
I do. I don't think you shouldn't produce highly produced content. I think there needs to be a balance. So for one example, you know, we ran a campaign over Christmas, a big Christmas campaign for a company called Wall, which they're like the world's longest running male grooming clipper brand. And we produced a ton of different content for this ad campaign. Some of it was highly produced, where we had like actors, and, you know, we did it on a set. You know, it was looked really suave. Whereas other videos, you know, middle of funnel videos where we remarketed to people that showed interest, we literally gave people the product and got them to shoot it with some guidance on their phone. Really, some of them were, you know, you'd look at them and think, oh, the lighting's not great. But some of those ads way outperformed the highly produced content in terms of the return on ad spend we were getting in that campaign. And I think it, like you mentioned, it really comes down to people resonate with stuff that doesn't look like advertising, and it works.
Okay, so what should businesses, or what should we not do on Instagram TV? What doesn't work?
That's such a difficult question to answer at this stage. Like I mentioned, we're in the testing phase, so I don't want to say to anyone, don't do this thing because you'll look rubbish and it won't work. What I want to say to people watching or listening is try and test different things. Try doing, you know, like the 3 buckets of content I spoke about. Try doing the talking to camera piece that's not very not low production value. Try doing the higher production value that's purely focused on IGTV. Try doing repurposed content that's tailored to that platform. I guess we kind of touched on this, but the thing not to do is to get the formatting wrong, because that never kind of looks good. Like I mentioned earlier, you want to ensure, and again, online on Google, there's loads of templates and things to ensure that you're getting the thumbnail, you know, text not chopped off, and the subtitles not chopped off when you're seeing it in your Insta feed or on IGTV directly. So don't get the formatting wrong, and that will just take a bit of Googling to find the right templates. Do test loads, try different things, see what works, learn what works and learn what doesn't work. And also look at what other creators are doing and learn from that as well. We learn so much from just, you know, we're millennials ourselves. My screen time on my phone is crazily high because I love consuming content. I'm constantly on Instagram consuming it. And that, again, helps us then think of creative concepts based around stuff we've seen other people doing.
Yeah, really, really interesting. I think it's true. You have to really experiment and see where it goes, and also this idea of looking at what other creators are doing. And I always I think it's very natural for people to look at their competitors or their direct or those who they want to be like, right? So they either look at very big brands, which yeah, when the big brand was our size, they didn't do those kind of stuff. They do it now when they're big, right? So it doesn't make sense. It's not those kinds of activities that brought them to where they are. So that's not a good place to look for inspiration. And then also our competitors, it's no good to look for inspiration there, because then we're just following and we're just looking like them. So yeah, I'm always looking for ideas outside of our immediate circle. Just something that we can borrow from another industry and apply that.
I think you're right, and it's good to throw your net wide and gain small bits of information from things that are nothing to do with your industry and things that are in your industry as well. I think it's and one more sort of thing that we found worked really well recently is obviously being authentic is this whole buzzword, and it's, you know, people overuse the whole being authentic sort of phrase. But something we did recently was that worked really well for us as a brand was our first video. We produce videos every week. We have the Content Thursday day where we plan our whole content strategy and produce the video content. We produced a video, tried to produce our first video in January after we'd been off for Christmas and New Year, and it just didn't go to plan. And it really, we got to the end of the video and my co-founder and I were on camera still, and we were sort of like, that was rubbish. This isn't good enough. But what was good was the cameras were still rolling, and we recorded that conversation and put that out on IGTV and amongst other platforms instead. And because we were genuinely being authentic in the conversation without us sort of realizing the camera was still on, resonated with so many creators, that really kind of got people commenting and got people saying, oh, I know what the feeling's like. So that whole being authentic, it sounds sort of counterintuitive saying, try to be authentic. You should just be, you know, being yourself. And yeah.
There's a whole topic there about authenticity, which we could go talking about for hours. So let's, which is super interesting. But let's focus on maybe how do you get maximum exposure? So with YouTube, we know the tricks, like the sort of YouTube SEO and all of those kind of things. What about Instagram TV? What are the tricks to get our videos most watched and the most exposure we can get?
I think the key focus should be looking at other places where you have an audience and utilizing those to drive traffic back to your IGTV. That's kind of one stream. So sharing it in your stories, making sure you're using location and hashtags, tagging in your stories, sharing it in your Insta feed. Also things like, the classic using the right hashtags to be found in search. The whole UI of and UX of IGTV is, you're able to search for different things. They're actually just changing that. They're recently changing that. I read an article earlier on that they're just changing the way so it's easier to search for things. But yeah, looking at even, kind of embedding IGTVs on blogs and things so that, and to drive that traffic anywhere else you have an audience, make the most of that audience and, adding a link in your email footer. Think creatively.
Interesting. So not just send them to our general Instagram account, but send them to our Instagram profile, but send them to our IGTV. Add that as another option, and wherever we allow people to go to our social profiles, etc.
Exactly, and also because they've removed this button, that makes it easily accessible. You want to be driving people to IGTV, the app itself, so that they're going to be consuming content on there.
Got it. Don is asking, how do you best repurpose content? Kind of a big question right there.
Good question. So let me talk through the way we do it. So there's various ways you can do this, but the way we do it is we take, we produce most of our videos 16:9, so like traditional YouTube size. And what we do when we repurpose that for IGTV is we create a graphic in the background that's kind of with our brand colors and sort of fuzzed out. and then we put the video in the middle and make it bigger in the middle of the screen, and then we have burnt in subtitles or captions underneath that video, and a title for the video on the top as well. And like I said, the ideal thing would be creating content that's purely for IGTV, so you wouldn't be repurposing, you'd be shooting vertical and it would look perfect for IGTV, but we all know that that takes a shed load of time and resources and energy, and it's kind of a lower barrier to entry to start dipping your toe in the water by doing this kind of repurposing. But look at how people like Kerwin Ray's like an Australian business dude that's really great on IGTV and Insta. He's doing a really good job of that. Look at what he's doing for how he's repurposing his videos. And then you know, people like Steve Bartlett's another one. Look at how they're kind of formatting their videos. But don't just look at them or look at us or look at whoever and copy that. Try and add your own style. Try and add something that's a bit different to you. Yeah.
Would this show be appropriate to repurpose for IGTV? Could I take the copy, download this video and somehow use it?
I'd say potentially, but at the moment, because we've got two of us side by side, when people will see this on a mobile, we'll be so tiny. What I'd suggest to do is cut you know, me out and you out and put us one on top of the other, so that it's taking up more screen collateral. So it's a better user experience for the viewer. I think right now we're just too small to you know, captivate someone's attention. It needs to be using more screen collateral.
Got it. Yeah, the format is just not relevant.
Yeah.
I was asking if you mentioned that the example of the person you said did very well on Instagram TV.
Which one was that? James Smith, the personal trainer. Lad Bible is another one.
You mentioned, I think you mentioned
Kerwin Ray.
Sorry,
Kerwin Ray. Kerw. Sorry, they said Colin Ray. Almost. Yeah. Kerwin Ray. Kerwin. I think it's Ray or Rae. I think it might be Rae. So no.
Great. Yeah, Chrissy is saying great advice. Thank you, Chrissy. Yeah. Any guys, if you have anybody watching, if you have any questions, this is a good time to ask for Instagram TV. Also, are you or are you not on Instagram TV? Let us know. It'll be interesting to find out what is the current state of affairs, or how many businesses are actually doing Instagram TV. Tom, I'm not sure what you mean here, Martian. While we wait for any questions, there's sometimes I think there's a 10-second lag between the actual live and the streaming. So and then people type. Do you see any kind of trends for Instagram TV? Is that something that you're putting more of an emphasis on? Same, less in 2020?
So we're continuing to dip our toe in the water, and we've started now with every video that we produce that we feel can be repurposed. We've started repurposing it to format it. You know, the second bucket of content I spoke about, we're in that kind of, we're not going all in and, you know, producing everything vertical, because we feel like other platforms like LinkedIn have a much, for our business, specifically a B2B agency, we get much higher reach and engagement. But for other businesses like B2C, e-commerce businesses, fashion, I'd be really doing what we're doing by dipping your toe in the water and then gauge the response you're getting for that and then scale up accordingly.
Yeah, I think that's always good advice. And frankly, some brands are going to do much better, and some are just not. It's just not the place for them for whatever reason, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Chrissy is asking if can you do a live show on IGTV, and what software would you use to do that?
You can do an Instagram live, but I've never seen an IGTV live. There may be external software. I doubt it though. I doubt it. I haven't read or heard anything or done it myself, an IGTV live. You should just use Instagram live to do that, because that integrates with another. I don't know if StreamYard that you're using integrate with that. Potentially.
I don't think it does.
No?
They might add it, but it doesn't at this point. I don't believe it does integrate with other streaming software, which is really interesting. So you can stream to another streamer, that'll
Oh,
stream to
really?
wherever. Yeah, which is
Wow.
really funny. And some of them are
Inception.
free to a certain, yeah, Inception, exactly. And I know that there are streaming platforms out there that do all kinds of interesting destinations, like TikTok. You can live stream on TikTok today, which is like, okay, I'm not.
Do you guys use TikTok?
I don't know how to,
Does Wave use TikTok, or is that not really your?
No. It's somehow the
We don't
idea
either.
of the idea of me in front of 9-year-old teen girls doesn't sound like a good idea. Not going to be well received. I can't see any there. And if I would, I don't know if that's good either. So
Good point.
Yeah. I'm a Gen Xer. That doesn't mix well. But no, TikTok, as I've been hearing more and more people going into like adults moving into TikTok for different reasons. It's purely at this point, from my impression, is that it's purely sort of just like fun, just your recreation, right? Recreation and fun. And it might be a good place to put in like your personal brand to get your, like if you have a very strong personality, it could work well. I know that Stephanie Lewis is testing her presence there and is doing some really fun things, which is great for, just to get to feel like you know her personally a bit.
I think it just comes back to the conversation of we all have X amount of hours in the day and resources, and we need to gauge where is our time best spent. We can't be everywhere doing everything 100%. For us, it's just not somewhere right now we believe our time is best spent. But there's lots of big marketers like Gary Vee and other people saying, get on TikTok, man. But yeah, I've dabbled in it and kind of it's a fun platform. But right now, it could be another Snapchat. Who knows?
It could be on Snapchat. Is another
kind of
one.
Die out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So great. I think that was great and great, really practical advice and really helpful for those who are trying to get onto Instagram TV and also those who are already on it and looking to hone in and do some better. So that was really helpful. For those of you watching, by the way, you might notice that I'm not in my normal environment, in my home office, in my hometown office in Boston. I am at our location in St. Petersburg, Russia. I'm here for the week. And we have, many of you know, we have 3 offices, one in Boston, one in St. Petersburg, and one in Lviv, Ukraine. So I'm here in St. Petersburg right now. It is 8:30 at night and everybody left, so I'm here alone. And we're still setting up our studio here, so I'm kind of at makeshift and the lighting isn't perfect, but it never is when I'm doing video. So that's it. Yeah, so hi from St. Petersburg. And Kent, you're from Kent, right?
Yes, Margate, Kent.
Yeah, Margate, Kent, which is in southeast UK.
Southeast of the UK, about an hour and a half from London.
Yeah, so very international show today. Thanks everyone for participating. This was great. If you have any follow-up questions, put them in the comments. Make sure to tag Dan or myself in them, and we will follow up. Much appreciated. And see you next time.
Thanks.